Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons.
This is a declaration of war. There will be dire consequences. There will be unpredictable consequences in the hours and days to come, because there is absolutely no way that Iran cannot respond to this act of aggression.
I think we should skip it. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it. World War III, folks. Hard pass. We've got enough going on stateside. We've got the No Kings riots set to kick off this weekend. No kings. We like kings, actually, folks. We like one king in particular, quite frankly. The King of Kings, our Lord and Savior. I don't know. Maybe you've heard of him. With that being said, God bless, good night, and good luck.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, thank you for joining us at a time when the world needs voices of clarity, compassion, and truth more than ever. In the last few days, we've watched headlines explode with news of Israel's direct strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, a decision that Prime Minister Netanyahu described as essential for the self-preservation of Israel. In return, Iran has threatened to retaliate with full force, pushing the Middle East to the brink of what many fear could become a catastrophic full-scale war. But as the drums of war echo across the region, a quieter, more powerful movement is unfolding, online and in the hearts of people. From inside Israel, citizens are speaking out. Not all are cheering this military action. In fact, many are boldly standing up and saying, "Not in our name." Today's video is not about generals or governments. It's about the people, about Israeli civilians reaching across enemy lines, not with missiles, but with messages of humanity. It's also about others who feel deeply conflicted or fully supportive of their nation's defense. This story isn't simple. It's emotional. It's raw. And it deserves to be told with care, balance, and respect. And as always, before we begin, we want to acknowledge the creators, the brave individuals on social media, especially from Israel and Iran, who are using their voices, their platforms, and their pain to bring people together, rather than tear them apart. You're the real heroes in this narrative. Let's dive in.
We have breaking news right now. Israel has announced that there is a second round of strikes on Iran happening right now as we speak. A number of targets across Iran are being hit right now. Once again, this comes after the first wave targeted a number of nuclear facilities, military installations, and senior political and military leaders. Meanwhile, Iranian officials are telling Reuters that a strong response is coming. Now, we don't know what that's going to look like, whether it's going to be a ballistic missile response or elsewhere. Donald Trump will be convening the National Security Council in the White House tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And there are preliminary reports that hospitals in Israel are moving departments underground in preparation of what will likely be a very strong and massive response from Iran. It's going to be a very long night, but it's also going to be a very long several days and potentially weeks. So I'll continue providing you updates every step of the way. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
To the people of Iran, I am a Jew from Israel. I speak to you not as an enemy, but as a friend, and more importantly, as a fellow human being. Today there's a lot of tension between our countries, but I want you to hear this clearly. People of Israel are not against the people of Iran. Our conflict is not with you, but with a regime that has brought so much suffering to the region, and tragically you, the Iranian people who deserve so much better. For thousands of years, Jews and Persians have shared a rich history of friendship and respect. From Cyrus the Great, who helped rebuild the Jewish homeland, from centuries of cultural exchange and coexistence, our two peoples have a bond that long predates any government or any conflict. I think we both understand that the current hostilities don't represent the ordinary person who just wants peace, prosperity, and freedom. We know that there are millions of Iranians who just strive for a better future for their kids and security, just as we do. So I just want to say from me to you, it's that we stand with you. We stand with the brave women, the courageous students, the workers, the artists. We stand with the families who want a different future, one free of oppression and violence. My hope is not for war. My hope is that we can once again reestablish the friendship between the Israeli people and the Iranian people. I think that future is possible.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. And this is why for decades, it's led millions in the chants of death to Israel and death to America. Today, Israel is responding to those genocidal calls with action and with a call of our own. Long live Israel and long live America. Our action will help make the world a much safer place.
1. Israelis reaching out to Iranians. We don't want war. In the hours after the Israeli airstrikes were confirmed, something unexpected started trending. Not war cries, but peace pleas. On platforms like Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok, Israeli citizens began posting messages directly to the Iranian people, saying, "We don't support what our government just did. We're scared too. We don't want war. We see you. We hear you. This isn't about you and me. It's about politics." These posts aren't coming from politicians or celebrities. They're coming from students, teachers, parents, veterans, and peace activists, the backbone of any nation. They're choosing compassion over fear and connection over nationalism. Some are even recording personal video letters, looking straight into the camera, saying, "I'm Israeli, I'm Jewish, but above all, I'm human. I don't want to see you hurt." 2. Support for Netanyahu. We had no choice. Of course, not all Israelis are condemning the strikes. There's a significant portion of the population, especially those who support Prime Minister Netanyahu, who believe the airstrikes were necessary. They argue Iran's nuclear ambitions pose an existential threat. Diplomacy has failed for decades. Waiting any longer could be suicidal for Israel. These supporters are also making their voices heard. waving flags at rallies, defending the military's actions online, and insisting that Iran's threats must be met with strength. This ideological divide between citizens shows just how emotionally charged and morally complex this moment is for Israelis. Three, the role of social media, from rage to reconciliation. One reason this moment is so unique is because of how much of it is playing out online. Unlike past wars where propaganda dominated, this generation has access to each other in real time. We're seeing Israelis and Iranians talk directly to each other, in comments, in DMs, and in viral videos. They're crying together, mourning together, hoping together. Some are saying, we won't need to be enemies. If only our governments could see what we see. These digital bridges don't stop missiles, but they do chip away at the walls of hate, and that matters more than people. Governments make war. People want peace. This is what war really looks like. Not just jets in the sky or bombs on the ground, but mothers worrying about their children, young people terrified of losing their future, and strangers on opposite sides of the world trying to make each other feel seen. What we're witnessing isn't just the collapse of diplomacy, it's also the emergence of grassroots humanity.
This is a declaration of war. There will be dire consequences. There will be unpredictable consequences in the hours and days to come, because there is absolutely no way that Iran cannot respond to this act of aggression. Just have a look at what has happened in the past hours. The United States evacuated its embassy staff from Iraq and elsewhere in the Middle East. What does it tell us? President Trump spoke of a likely Israeli attack on Iran just hours before this attack. What does it tell us? It tells us that the United States had prior knowledge. The United States was informed in advance of this attack, and very, very likely it was carried out with the coordination, in coordination with the United States. So we should look at this attack not as an incident or a single unilateral action, but part of a broad regional plan that is taking the Middle East towards another escalation with unpredictable consequences.
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen. There's a chance of massive conflict. We have a lot of American people in this area, and I said, we got to tell them to get out because something could happen soon. And I don't want to be the one that didn't give any warning and missiles are flying into their buildings. It's possible. So I had to do it. I had the choice. Do I do it or not? Doing it has its downside, but it also has its upside. Like, you're going to save a lot of lives if it should happen. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
This could be the moment that changes everything. In the early hours of this morning, Israel launched a massive coordinated airstrike deep inside Iranian territory, striking nuclear sites, missile facilities, and killing senior Iranian commanders and nuclear scientists. This wasn't covert, this was bold, direct, and very public. Prime Minister Netanyahu called it a preemptive move to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons. He's named it Operation Rising Lion. Iran are promising what they're calling harsh and decisive retaliation. The region is now on edge, airspace is closing, embassies are scrambling, and although the US says it wasn't involved, this pulls everyone closer to a much more dangerous line. What makes this even more volatile is the timing. Iran was just days away from nuclear talks with the West, and now that's off the table. Some say that was the real objective here, to blow up diplomacy before it began. So, what happens next? Does Iran fire back with drones, missiles, cyber attacks? Does Hezbollah enter the fight? Do US bases get hit? This is no longer just an Israeli-Iranian issue. This could spiral fast and hard. So I'm asking you this, is this the beginning of a justified defence or the first step towards something far worse? Let me know what you think and follow for more news, views and uncomfortable truths.
As we close today's video, I want to speak directly to you, whether you're watching from Tel Aviv, Tehran, Los Angeles, or Lagos. This conflict is far from over. It may get worse before it gets better. But let's never forget, while politicians and generals argue over red lines and nuclear thresholds, it's the people, you and me, who carry the cost of every explosion, every policy, every silence. The civilians speaking out right now are doing something extraordinary. They're putting their own safety, reputations, and comfort on the line to say something radical in today's climate. I choose peace. We salute those brave enough to reach across divides. And we also acknowledge those feeling torn, those who support their country but question the means. Your doubts, your fears, and your convictions are all valid. To the creators, Israeli and Iranian alike, who are using their platforms to remind the world that war is never between people, but between powers, we see you. We honor you, and we will continue to tell your stories. If this video moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Tell us how you feel. Are you scared? Hopeful? Angry? We want to hear your voice too. And remember, peace doesn't begin with governments. It begins with us. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and keep speaking truth.